I'm sorry if you don't like me as a friend right now because you can't keep up, but it's got nothing to do with you or my opinion of you. I'm just going to
Dude,
beat you.
Ardiaga drives one to center. Miller hustling over. Diving catch by Ian Miller. A great catch.
3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Nine Hole Podcast with David and Ian. David, what's going on, brother?
It's a snow day here. Icy roads, icy everything. So kind of just catching up on some computer work and cranking out another episode with you.
I love it, man. I love it, man. Did you watch any of the college football finale last night?
Yeah, I tuned in a little bit. Didn't get to watch as much as I wanted. I was working on some house stuff, but I didn't. I mean, props to both teams, but Michigan's just a little more, I don't know, tenured, a little more powerful, a little different conference. But I thought it was awesome for Washington to get to where they did, and Penix is an unbelievable talent, but he was a little overmatched last night. It sounds like.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So there's a whole bunch of baseball news going on. We'll just jump right into it. Wander Franco was having relations with an underage woman in the Dominican Republic. So he is now out of jail amid the ongoing investigation. So he posted bail, like 34 grand, I guess the equivalent, man, and he got out on conditional release. He can leave the country. I guess what I was reading was that this 14-year-old girl and him, like it was consensual, obviously, but he was giving her mother money and a car for like her consent for her to be okay with it. He was kind of bribing her. And then Wander Franco's mother was also giving them money, right? So I guess like there were multiple adults involved. They all kind of knew what was going on. They all partook, I guess that's the right word,
Yeah.
in a different way, in their own separate way, man. So that was crazy. And I don't know what this kind of looks like for his career. But dude, he's a 22-year-old all-star. And he signed an 11-year, $182 million banger in 2021. So that's a whole bunch of money he's could have changed his bloodline with, right? What do you got on this, man? You think he's going to be playing again? What happens to this kid?
I mean, I think it's horribly disgusting, and I'm not trying to validate any of this. He knew he was in the wrong. The parents probably knew they were wrong. Money. It's an incredibly poor country, third world country. And like, again, I don't want to normalize this in any way because it is horrible. But over there, like that happens. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be in trouble because he absolutely should be. But guys that when our Dominican teammates, they'd see a 15-year-old girl and be like, "Oh, that girl's pretty." I'm like, "That girl's 15. What are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh, in the Dominican." And I'm like, "Well, you're not in the Dominican." So it's
Yeah.
scary. It's a different culture, different lifestyle over there, and unfortunately, he used his status and his money to probably influence an entire family.
Yeah, dude. I don't know kind of what happens to his career moving forward, right? You saw it was a different incident with the Trevor Bauer, choking sex scandal, right?
Yeah,
Like a whole bunch of stuff came out, regardless of how it ended up, right? I guess he's exonerated. I think it came out that man, he was kind of fighting in the right. I think right. It came out that he wasn't in trouble. He was pitching for Japan, but like his reputation still tarnished, right? I don't know if he comes back and ever pitches again
it
in
always
Major
will
League
be.
Baseball. Yeah,
This guy,
dude.
I don't think Wander Franco. I don't think he plays another inning in Major League Baseball. There's no
Mm.
way. Like, especially in today's, I mean, he shouldn't get away with it, hands down. But today's world, and we'll get into that a little bit with the Marlins' new hire. Like, it's a different world. It's more inclusive. It's more, in a lot of ways, it's much better. It's a safer, and that can't be imagine Major League Baseball. I mean, hey, come back to the States and who knows, 14-year-old girl down the street. Like, I wouldn't want that, but
For sure, dude.
I don't make the decision.
I played with this dude. He was from another country, and dude, he was Cuban. He was
Okay.
Cuban, and there was something, I guess, that happened with the hotel, and one of the maids, I guess, like he forced himself on one of the maids, and dude, it was this whole crazy, like terrible thing. I don't really know what happened, but dude, he was gone like the next day. Like it's
I've heard
crazy.
about stories like that.
It's
And
crazy, man. It really is
not
crazy.
normalizing it, not saying it's okay, not here to say any of that. But these guys just grow up in a much different world than you and I did. Not saying
Yeah,
you and I didn't have our problems, but they grew up. They live in. Some of them grow up in just a hut,
yeah,
and they're
yeah.
they're aggressive, and things need to change over there before they change over here. And loved
I
all my
feel you.
Latin players I played with, but the higher up they got, the more they were around, the better they kind of became, and more like social situations, and they were able to you know better carry themselves
Yeah, no, that makes
when
sense.
when they first come over. They're awesome, and they're full of life. They're dancing, they're passionate. I love everything about the Latin culture. It's just different.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Nah, that makes a ton of sense, man. That makes a ton of sense, dude.
It's a tough
So,
topic. Yeah.
yeah, it is. Who knows what will happen, dude? But you're right. So when you just hit on like it's a different type of culture, it's a different type of maybe upbringing, all this stuff. I remember specifically, um, a dude from, I'm not even going to say his name, but a dude from like Venezuela got
Hmm.
released in rookie ball. My first year in rookie ball, and I remember hearing a story of him going to catch a connecting flight in New York, like JFK Airport or something like that, to then go back home, and him just never catching the connecting flight. So, like when
That
the
happens a
team
lot.
releases you, um, excuse me, well, I just ripped a burp. When a team releases you, dude, like they'll pay for your flight home. They want to fly you
Yep.
out to spring training, pay for your flight there. They released him, gave him a flight back, and he never caught the connecting flight, dude. And I guess he just tried to start, a new life in New York or the surrounding area. And dude, I've never heard from him. Actually, I have heard from him. Crazy story. Not gonna get into it, but yeah, like it. I'm I'm not sure what's going on with him now, but like,
I
yeah,
got a WhatsApp message from a former Dominican teammate last night. What's up, brother? I was like,
yeah,
dude, how are you? What's up? And he's like, all good, man. What are you doing for work? And I was like, this is what I'm doing. And he's like, cool, man. Good to talk to you. Just
awesome.
randomly. Yeah. I
Okay,
mean, I love that culture, but yeah, you're right. Like Venezuela, I mean, that country is scary right now.
yeah, yeah, dude,
I mean,
yeah, dude,
you get a ticket back here, and we have our issues here internally for sure, but it's not like down there. So if you had a chance to stay here and it's illegal, I understand that, but
yeah. You stay here.
yeah,
You try to do what you can. That's crazy. Yeah, you're right. You're right. 100%. You want to be where the opportunity is, where the conditions are better and stuff.
that's where all the
Um,
Cuban players, when they defect, they come over here to play in like the World Baseball Classic or Olympics or some tournament, and then they just get a tag or a taxi from the hotel and they leave and they sign a contract here.
that's that's nuts. That's
It's
wild.
weird, but it
Yeah,
happens. Yeah, different world we're living in. Things are changing, some for the better, some for the worse. But
for sure. So, dude, you mentioned like some things are changing. So in the game of baseball, dude, there's a whole shift. New coaches, dude. I'm seeing like younger coaches. I feel like having great success. We are seeing women in sports becoming more prevalent than men's sports. Dude, so we got Rachel Balkovec is now the director of player development for the Marlins, right? So she
should be
was
in charge of your future. Like if you're getting called
yeah,
up,
dude,
sent
yes.
down,
So
released.
she's got 2 years under her belt. The past 2 years of being the manager, A ball for the Yankees. Um, full-time manager. She's the first woman to be a full-time manager for a major league affiliated team, serve as a full-time hitting coach in an MLB organization, and she is the first woman to work as a full-time strength and conditioning coach in affiliated baseball, right? So she's got like hands in all
Yep.
things. She's got experience, strength and conditioning, right? Hitting coach,
Played
all this
softball.
stuff. Yeah, dude, she was a standout. Background, cutting edge analytics, beginning as an exercise science major at Creighton in New Mexico. D1 catcher, dude. Master's degree. So like extremely educated, man. It's cool to see the rise and the prevalence more so of women in
Yeah.
sports, dude. What is this? So like let's say you're a player. Like how what does that mean to you, right? If you're being coached by a woman, does that affect you in anything that has to do with baseball, right? Does that influence anything for you?
So I'll preface this. It's a good question. I'll preface this first by I think until this gets more normal, like, I mean, you watch NFL games, NBA games, you see women referees now. I think it's great. But I will say that I think it's sad that Rachel here will always have, I don't know, like old school guys are gonna give her shit. They're gonna think, it's not fair, it's not right. Like there's a man that could do that job just as well as she could. And maybe they're right. But at the end of the day, if she's a director of player development, a strength coach, manager, whatever, if she's the best fit for the role, I'm all in. Like, I think it's awesome. I don't care if you're 72, 20, a girl, guy, whatever. Like, if you better my career and help me, I'm all in. But I do think it's sad that there's going to be naysayers and people out there that say she only got this job because we're living in this woke society and they're just trying to make headlines. And to an extent, maybe that is a play. I don't know. Like, we live in this world now where, like, if you're not on one side of the fence, you're completely on the other and you're not keeping up with the times. And it's hard because she probably is super passionate about the game, super passionate for her players, and she's doing what makes her happy, and she's probably doing a good job of it. But no matter what, there'll be a vast majority of people that think she shouldn't be in baseball.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
unfortunate. And like, more respect to her that she wakes up every day and she goes out and faces that. Do I
Damn
agree with
straight.
it? Like, yeah, if she's good for the role, I agree with it. I've never had a female coach. And I do think it was hard for me sometimes. Like, I was just getting out of baseball when the crazy rush of analytics were coming in. Like for lack of a better word, a nerdier guy in khaki pants would come up to me and be like, "Hey, you need to throw this or do this with your fastball," and he'd never thrown a fastball. So it's hard, but like the world is changing, and if there's someone with better information, better knowledge, better capacity to communicate that, like if you're the best fit for the job, you're the best fit for the job.
Mm,
Simple as that. But we got
agree.
to be careful with, are we just doing this because we got to keep up with the times?
Yeah. No, I agree, dude. I mean, I've experienced a woman coach. So my first year with the Cubs, like you said, kind of towards the back end of my career was when analytics were starting to ramp up. So it was the year after, I guess, you had, when was that? 2019. So 2020 was the year
Yeah.
that I had experienced kind of Rachel Folden and, how she goes about her business, how she hits in the cage, her hitting instruction, her philosophies behind hitting. And dude, I got to spend a little bit of time with her in spring training. She got to break down my swing, kind of tell me, dude, where I was deficient in some things. Like, dude, the coaches are well equipped to handle insane data that I don't even fully
Yeah.
understand,
That's what I'm
right? So they
saying.
can
Yeah.
strap you up to one of those like K vests or something like that, and take a couple swings, and they can see where you're using your force, like where you're deficient in certain things, right? So she was able to check my swing out, and I remember relying on her, for a little bit, especially in 2020 when COVID hit, and then they had spring training 2.0. Right, I had to take a little time off because everything got shut down, dude. And so I
Yeah.
was just chilling. Showed up to Chicago, trying to potentially, hopefully, stars align, earn a bench spot. And And so I remember working with her a little bit, trusting my swing with her. And now, dude, she's in charge of hitting for the minor leagues, and I think she's going to be in Double A. Dude, I just saw her this
That's
weekend.
awesome.
So they're gonna have big time people in Double A, right? So like prospects. So they're
Yeah,
gonna have her in Double A, even though she's gonna travel and stuff. But she's in charge of hitting, dude, for the system. She
good
knows her shit,
test.
dude. Yeah, shout out Rachel Folden.
So like that right there, like I think that's something I want to touch on really quickly. But if you have someone that's incredibly proficient in and out with this new technology that we are implementing to make better baseball players, analytics, technology are tools we can use to better ourselves as players or coaches or whatever. Like, would you rather someone that maybe didn't have as much experience, but it was so in depthly, in tune with this technology and could translate it and work with it? Or would you go give a guy that played 15 years in the big leagues this technology, who's 72 years old, has all this wealth of information from the game from his playing, be like, hey, go tell this kid what he's doing wrong. Here's your technology. He'd be like, what? So I think there's got to be a little bit of both. Some of the worst coaches I had were 10-year big leaguers.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Some guys would be like, hey, just reach out a little bit more, stay back. And you're like, what?
Dude, you know what? Yeah. Yes. I get that. I feel that. I do feel that.
I
Now
mean,
that I'm
some of those guys too, like it just were so naturally gifted. I'm not saying they didn't work hard. They just had way more natural talent than me. So their instruction was like, stay back, stay over the rubber,
mm,
hold your slider like this. This is how I held mine. I'm like, well, I'm not you. So if someone could translate that to me through technology or through analytics, which I'm not a diehard analytic fan. I'm not a diehard technology fan, but if someone is proficient in it and can translate that to our youth and new players and stuff, by all means, they're probably better at it than
makes
an
sense,
older
dude.
person.
Makes sense, dude. So some more baseball news, man. So I'm gonna butcher it. Shōta Imanaga.
I think that's perfect. I think that's how you say it.
So he's got until Thursday to sign, right?
Another
So
Japanese guy. It's crazy.
yeah, dude. There's a lot of hype, a lot of buzz, dude. So there's a couple names surrounding this guy. Uh, the Japanese left-hander's posting period expires on Thursday,
What
right?
does that mean? Do you know any more about that?
He
Sorry.
has until like the expiration on Thursday to sign with a major league team. If not, then he goes back to Japan. So I think like this like period, he is able to field offers, make a deal, sign something, and then I think that expires. Um, so that happens on Thursday. So if he plans to move to the United States, a decision needs to be made before expiration. The Giants are the clear favorite. You were talking about that.
Yeah.
Cubs, Red Sox, Giants, Angels seem to be like the front runners in it, and they're talking about he's going to command a 5-year, $75 million banger, right? 5 years, 75.
Yeah.
What do you got on that?
Well, so like the Giants, they missed out on Yamamoto and Otani. I guess they were going after both of them very hard. So like I think, I don't know, just putting my feet on their shoes a little bit, I guess. They're probably thinking they got to do something. And then you put here that, a couple of their guys are banged up. Robbie Ray and Alex Cobb, and I mean they need another arm. I
Yeah,
mean they were a good baseball team last year, one of the top baseball teams in the MLB. And if they don't have their dudes, I mean I'm sure they got some young prospects coming up, but this guy's proven himself and arguably the second best professional baseball league in the world.
for sure, dude.
Left-handed.
So they signed outfielder Jung Hoo Lee. Dude, so like they've been active. We've seen kind of the Korea, Japan, like those types of markets. Like we've seen they've become hotter. A lot of dudes are coming out of there and signing fucking unreal contracts, commanding top dollars. You saw, what's going on with the Dodgers, dude. That's crazy. Dodgers are something that I want to continue talking about, dude. So they just signed another guy, Teoscar Hernandez, and they're not just giving him like scraps. They're not just giving him scraps, dude. So 1 year, $23.5 million contract after the $1 billion, given to Glass now, Yamamoto, and Otani, right? That's over $1 billion, and they're giving Teoscar Hernandez 23 and a half, adding another All-Star bat, dude. So there's this whole thing of like deferred money, right?
Tax
That's a whole
brackets.
different type of like luxury tax. I don't even know what that means. There's this whole different type of like chess game that is going on behind the scenes. That obviously this deferred money is a blessing, right, for the
Yeah.
Dodgers, so they can go out and
Right
get
now.
dudes like Teoscar.
And
Yeah,
I think that's why Otani did that. He had to have. He wants to win a World Series. He wants to. I mean, he's the best baseball player in the world over the last 5 years, especially, and that's not going to go away. And he hasn't come close to winning anything.
yeah.
Like a team, like team wise, like he wins Cy Youngs and MVPs, and I mean, but he wants to go win a championship, and I think it's cool. And I think it's actually, when you break it down, I think he ends up making like more money and paying less taxes on it and stuff. But whatever, it's smart.
Because he'll be
And-
done and out of there before he starts getting paid.
Yeah.
That the majority of his money. So he's making what $2 million bucks a year, and like
And when we talk about the Dodgers, like I know we had some comments and stuff like Dodger hate. Like my old roommate's on the Chris Taylor.
yeah,
You play with him too.
with the Dodger hate.
Yeah, I love one of my best friends lives in Echo Park, and we go down to this little bar, and you get these Dodger dogs, and then you can walk up the hill to the Dodger game. And I love the Dodgers. I'm just confused how this is legal. That's all I've ever said. Like they have stud after stud after stud after stud after stud. Like they won 108 games last year or something like crazy. They didn't end up winning it, but like this year they might win 120 games. They might break the record. I think 116 is the tied record right now. The Mariners actually did that.
They might win 80 too.
Yeah, I doubt it, but they could.
No. Dodger hate. Stop hating.
People, dude, Dodgers fans and Giants fans are passionate.
Yeah.
Have you seen those brawls they get into at those games?
Yeah.
Google Giant Dodger fans sometimes on YouTube, and it's scary.
They get after it. They get okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm a fan of baseball. I love Chris Taylor, phenomenal dude.
Yeah, I love Chris.
What he's done with his career. He signed a big deal a couple years ago.
Sleepyhead.
He just got married.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
He's
Fan of
building
the
a
show.
house. He's
Friend of
building a
the
house
show.
out there. It's cool.
Good for him, man. So, the article said the Dodgers are betting heavily on Hernandez, an All-Star in 2021, because his signing will push. Oh my God!
Threshold. Yeah.
Because his signing will push their payroll to around $270 million, they will jump well into the second luxury tax bracket and pay a 12.5% surcharge on top of the 50% they need to pay for spending over the $237 million threshold. I have no idea what that even means, dude, but I do know this. Factoring in additional money spent because of the luxury tax. So Teoscar Hernandez, 1 year deal that is supposed to be for $23.5 million will cost the Dodgers more than $32 million.
Like almost $10 million more bucks.
It's just funny money, dude.
$8.5 million. Yeah.
It's just funny money. It's insane. I don't know how they do it, but like they got cash. They have cash. They have the chess pieces, man. So
Is Magic Johnson still involved in that? He was like a advisor, or part owner, or something.
majority owner, minority
Yeah.
owner, or something like that.
He used to go to all the games, and
Really?
that dude's got his hand in everything.
Yeah, he does. Yes, he does, dude. That's crazy. That's crazy. I did not know that. He's a
A lot
businessman.
of money out there, especially LA. Two big markets. I mean, LA, New York, and I mean, there's so many teams now. Like I feel like the Giants could still be good. I think the Braves are going to be right up there. But I mean, all eyes are on the Dodgers.
What happens, dude, if they're spending all this money? They're spending all this money and it backfires.
Thumbing through so much money, like that.
Yeah. What
I
if they
mean,
thumb through so much money and it backfires?
it would be a failure. I mean, that I don't know how else to say it. Like all eyes are on them right now. I think in a weird way, this is good for baseball. The more like I think baseball's kind of been like on a little bit of a
Incline.
downslope. Yeah. And I mean, you have a tweet at the end that we're going to talk about here, but
Yeah.
I love
That'll bring baseball back.
I love
That'll bring baseball back,
I
I think.
love baseball,
Yeah.
and it's sad to see. I mean, I love football. I got a love for basketball, I guess, but it's sad to see. You know, it's America's pastime. I don't know. There's no such thing as bad press, right? We get a comment on a weird comment on one of our videos and stuff. And you're just like, what? But
Oh yeah, dude.
yeah, if we could,
Some weirdo.
we want to get out there as much as possible, and if this content helps grow baseball, like that's really what I do this. Like,
That'd be sick, huh? That'd be sick. That'd be real sick. I love that, dude. So I saw something about a player. So Luke Rayleigh is a native of where I'm at out here in Ohio. So there's a big time hitting facility around here, and guy's name's John Adams. He hits with kind of he's hit with Rayleigh in the off season and has told me a bunch of stories on like the kind of duty he is, how hard he works, how meticulous he is, and how he goes about his business.
it's
The
good.
off season training, says he's a outstanding dude, like top notch individual. Says he grinds. He's hit with them a bunch, and he's working on a whole bunch of different stuff. Obviously, he's like a top tier talent. But I get he just got traded to the Mariners, and I get he was on his honeymoon, right? So he was in a pool playing pool volleyball,
Yeah, so he had like 20 missed calls.
and he just got traded, just wheeled and dealed, just like that, dude. Like you're just on a honeymoon, like no hands off. Anything can happen at any time, dude. You got to be ready to move.
You don't think there's any like leading up to that, the team or your agent or someone internally is like being like, "Hey, man, like your name's in talk right now. I know you're about to get married, but
Don't
there's
leave
a
the
chance,
country.
yeah, you might get traded." Like, there's nothing
I don't think I'm not 100% sure, dude. I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can do that. I don't
really.
know.
Because when my dad got traded, he had no idea. He just showed up the next day, and they're like, "Hey, you got traded to Seattle. Go. Here's your flight information."
Yeah, I'm sure that some dudes, some players can like get the inkling that they're maybe in trade talks, right, from the media or anything. But I think if you keep it professional in an organization, you button that shit up. You don't squeal. You don't squeal. You don't let the beans out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
you
don't
have to.
know, because they always said whenever a player was going to get called up, like,
You couldn't get that to the media. Yeah.
but here's the thing, dude. So when I was in AAA, they would always let the minor league player know first. So this is how it would work. This is how
Like
it works.
if a big leaguer was getting sent down, you mean?
So I got called up when I was with the Cubs. I got called up for Chris Bryant. So Chris Bryant got hurt. I think he got scratched or something like that. So I got called up. I think I was let known first, right? Or if, let's say, somebody's going to get sent down, right? That's a terrible, terrible thing to like compare it to. Somebody gets hurt, right? So let's say somebody's going to get sent down. I get told that I'm going to go up, so I be ready. I get ready to go from Iowa to Chicago. But this player that's about to get sent down doesn't know that. He's still on the roster. So if that player that is up there is about to get sent down or about to go on the DL, doesn't want to, whatever it is, knows that he's about to get sent down, he fakes an injury. Oh, my leg, right? Then goes down
Something.
and DL, right? Stays up there, makes major league money, takes up, I don't, there's rules to that, but like if you fake an injury, you make that type of money. Whereas if you were going to get sent down, you wouldn't make that money.
Yeah.
That's how that works. So they told me when I'm going up to the big leagues, don't fucking tell anybody. there's got to be a retroactive move. They always say that. Like, there's a retroactive move. You're not getting called up and then that's it. Like, in order for you to get up there, somebody's got to
Yeah,
come
there's only so
off
many
or go down.
spots.
Yeah. So they always said, like, they don't tell anybody anything because that could influence it. If I know I'm going down, if I know I'm getting sent down, my leg. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? My
I'm not
leg.
happy.
That's right. My leg
My
hurts.
roommate on the road got called up when we were in Omaha, Nebraska. He had like a little bag on him, no suit. I think I don't know how, he had to go buy a suit somewhere. I don't know, but it was so crazy.
Mm.
And long story short, I had my own room.
That's sick. That's sick.
But I was pumped for him. They're not a Jerry Vasto, left-handed pitcher. Threw pretty
Ooh.
hard, Italian guy, New Jersey guy. But yeah, I mean, being in AAA, you get to see that so often. You get to see the other side too, where people get sent down, and that's not fun. But the first couple times, you see a kid get called up, and then they're right back down there 2 weeks later. But it's awesome.
Dude, so I saw there's something going on with the Oakland A's, man.
What is blocking a minor league game?
So the Oakland Bees, I guess, are a professional team that signed the rights to play a baseball game there in the Coliseum when the A's are on the road. So I guess it is they signed an agreement. The stadium's going to be empty. The Bees were going to have their game there. It was going to supply people jobs, that the people that are working there, right?
Yeah.
It was going to bring baseball there for the day, and it was going to give, I guess, players the opportunity. It's a minor league game, right? It's a professional game, and
Oakland Ballers.
yeah, the Bees, dude, the Oakland Bees. So the Oakland A's are on the road, so the Oakland Bees are trying to slide in there. They signed an agreement, and now Oakland's going back on it. They're going back on it. So that's not a good look to kind of just like go back on your word. I thought
It's
there
an
was
Indian giver.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, that's probably not politically correct anymore, but
Yeah, I don't think you can say that actually.
But
You can't say that.
that's a thing, isn't it? Like when you take something back from someone.
Yeah.
I feel
We'll just
horrible if
edit
that's
that out.
what
It's not a big deal. I'm just kidding, dude. Can't say that though. So
What is there a word you could say for that?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just messing with you, dude. But yeah, they're blocked. They're banned to play this game, man. Oakland's catching heat, dude. I don't really know what's gonna happen with that, man. But they got Congress, councilwomen, councilmen, people in the government, people of authority, causing an outrage, man. It's not very good. Not very good because, I mean, remember in past years, Oakland's fan base has been kind of dwindling, right? They've been getting kind of hit. They've been getting hit.
That Coliseum is, in today's stadium, like, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's old, it's dilapidated, it's gross. I mean, there's like 8,000 people at their games, maybe. There's like 40. It looked like there's like 47 people at one game.
Banging drums and stuff.
Yeah. Horrible.
Yeah, dude.
But like I think like the community, like I was reading that, like they were trying to do something cool. I just Googled Indian giver is based on cultural misunderstandings that took place between early European colonists and indigenous people with whom they traded. Often the Europeans viewed an exchange of items as gifts, and they believed that they owed nothing in return to indigenous people.
Perfect. Thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah, so I think it's actually a knock on Europeans. That's actually, okay to make fun of Europeans.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Who cares? So I'm European, dude. So yeah,
I think we all are, probably, if we're white.
So, dude, speaking of, man, speaking of what? European?
Neon Dion, he's not white.
So there was a story that came out that you just sent to me. So he had this day back when he was in school, right? He went to Florida State. We hear these stories all the time of how incredible of an athlete he is. But just this kind of sums up really like how insanely impactful his talent was, that the kind of like caliber, just the impact he had overall on the type of game like that, dude. I'm trying to think, how would I be able to stack up against ACC pitching, maybe at that age, at 19 or something like that. I'm like, ooh, dude, if I had to face an ACC pitcher or SEC pitcher at 19, I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Anyway, so Deion Sanders, man, was playing like not a playoff game, right, for his conference.
Yeah, semifinals.
Baseball, yeah, right.
Yep,
So the first pitch was at like 3 or something like that, and then
3 o'clock. Yeah,
right down campus, the track team was running some like relay race in the same finals for track.
yeah,
And so I guess what
in the championship. So he played
okay.
the 3
Oh
p.m.
shoot.
semifinal baseball game. They won that, so they got to advance to the championship game, which was at 7:30 at night. But then the championship 4x100 relay race was at 7 p.m. So
Mm,
30 minutes before the championship game. So he won a semifinal game, went and crushed a 4x100 relay race, and then went and played in a championship baseball game. I don't know why I've never heard this.
that's grinding, right? That's grinding. That's top tier athlete. That's just an insane ability. But obviously, dude, think about, we've touched on this all the time. Like, yeah, the best players are the ones with unreal talent. Obviously, you need to have some sort of talent, but man, if you have to have an insane drive. You have to have that like drive to want to be great, and just grind like that. So obviously, doing that, the ping pong back and forth between baseball, track, baseball. I mean, that's got to be fun for him, right?
Yeah.
Uh, that's badass. So, like, I want to kind of ping pong again with the ping pong reference. I want to ping pong again off that and kind of piggyback into this tweet that I saw. So, when we're talking about work ethic, sacrifice, like the grinding, think about Deion Sanders just going through that day and then winning. I think they got second in that track relay. They ended up winning the championship, I think. But there's this tweet I saw from Jamie Betchler, and it says, "Players making excuses about why you aren't in the gym, the weight room, or at training sessions usually leads to bad habits. These bad habits will be the same ones that lead you to make excuses during the season as to why you are underperforming." So that's the type of quote that will punch you in the face a little bit. That's the kind of tweet that'll kind of check you a
Wake
little
you
bit,
up.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, make you wake up a little bit, dude. What's your take on that, dude? Have you what's your feel on that, man? Have you ever experienced something like that?
If we're talking like high school kid, let's just say high school or college kid, really. But if we're referring to a high school kid here, and every home life is different, every situation is different, sure, but their job is majority is to go to school, to get good grades, graduate, whatever. They don't have, like, a younger kid doesn't have, most of them don't have kids, don't have a mortgage, don't have car payments, insurance, don't have the kind of things that you would call, pressures of real life as like an adult.
Yeah,
I mean, if I could go back now and be 16, like, sometimes I couldn't wait to grow up. I couldn't wait to have my own. You have so much freedom at 16. If I told my parents, hey, I'm going to hit, they'd be like, have fun. I could
yeah,
have went and hit as much as I wanted to. But like, until you don't know until you know, I get that. But I wish some of these kids could understand that, yeah, growing up is fun, but you got bills, you got kids and family and priorities. Like, right now, their priority is to be the best baseball player they can be, get good grades, you know, treat your parents with respect, whatever. But they don't have, most of these kids aren't working a 9 to 5 job. They don't have these extracurricular activities that they need to go to make ends meet. Most of them. So, like, what is your excuse? You want to play more video games? You want to go be more social? You want to hang out with your girlfriend? All that's fine,
mm,
but you have time for that.
yeah, dude. That's that I feel that. So that right there, you want to play video games, you want to hang out with your girlfriend, see your friends and stuff. When that maybe, yeah, you're right, dude. Like, I'm just thinking in terms of like sacrificing if you are trying to, get to the next level, right? If that is your goal, right, then you need to make those sacrifices. Some sacrifices, right? You pick and choose your battles. Um, but like the making excuses part, I just knowing you, like there's probably not a lot of excuses being made, right? You're be out there in the off seasons, um, grinding, right, rehabbing, whatever you needed to do. Like, did you experience anything, like this? Maybe where if you skip one day of throwing, it might steamroll into two. Or, you might only touch on that certain drill in a week or so, and then it just bad habits kind of steamroll, right?
It sounds douchey, but no, that didn't happen with me.
Yeah.
I made my greatest strides in the off season. During season, in season was like just maintaining. I put on weight, I put on velocity. I had a guy basically attached to my hip, and we were throwing partners. We were workout buddies. We ran together. All that. There was every once in a while, like Christmas or Thanksgiving or something, you take a day off. And same thing with these high school, college kids. Like, do your hitting 4 days in a row, your workouts 4 days in a row. Take one day to be like, hey, I'm going to get through this video game. I'm going to sit down today. I'm going to have 20 Oreos and watch a movie. Like, reward yourself, but you got to put the work in first. And if they don't have that mindset or that kind of, they can't hold themselves accountable. Like me, if I have a son one day, I'm gonna do the same thing my dad did. He was my greatest asset, best helper out there, but he wasn't gonna kick me up off the couch, say let's go work out. If I said, Dad, can we go throw? He would drop anything he was doing and go throw with me.
Sick.
Yeah, but find someone a kid that maybe is going to challenge you, maybe a partner. Danny Holtzen was that guy for me in rehab. There's days I didn't want to go do it. There's days when I was tired, and he was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, come on, let's go. And I'd have to do the same thing for him. Not as much because he was a freak.
He was a fucking machine, man.
Yeah, it didn't
He's
stop.
a machine. I felt, dude, same. So the most progress for me was made in the off season. That's when you were able to kind of, dude, curtail, I think is the word that's popping into my head. Curtail. What does curtail mean? My wife's texting me. Gosh, she always does that, man. She knows. She knows I'm on. Curtail, what does that mean?
Reduce in extent or quantity. Impose a restriction on.
Nah, that's not the word I'm looking for. I was going to say, like, when you can make your schedule, right, in the off season. Like, you can craft up your schedule in the off season. Dude, for me, I was always able to get the most out of, like, working out or hitting first thing in the day. If you make that the first thing, right, dude, you go through the day, whether you're at work or you go through school, dude, if you don't get the workout done or the hitting done prior to that, you got to wait until afterwards. You're probably not feeling it. I felt like for me, if the shit that I got to do, it's priority, especially moving around type stuff, dude. I tend to do better when it's first thing in the day, right?
Yeah, I love knocking
if you
it
have
out.
that, yeah, dude.
I had off-season jobs I had to go do too.
Yeah,
valet at night, just running, parking cars, but like all that, and maybe like you and I just had a different like love. Some of our buddies, some guys I played with had so much talent that I would kill for that talent. But they didn't have that. They didn't have that work ethic. And I'm not saying there's guys that worked harder than me, but I wasn't gonna let my those laziness or those intrusive thoughts creep in. If I got my ass kicked, it wasn't because I didn't prepare well. It wasn't because I wasn't in shape. Like I got off on that a little bit. Like there's times, especially in college, you're like, Holman, slow down, man. Like, why are you trying to make us look bad? And I was like, I know this is a team sport, but I don't care if you look bad. I'm doing this for myself. Like I'm running. We're on a long run right now. And I'm sorry if you don't like me as a friend right now because you can't keep up, but it's got nothing to do with you or my opinion of you. I'm just going to beat you.
I love it. So this is the last thing I got. This is the tweet that you said was going to save baseball, bring it back. So this is the Eugene Bleecker tweet. This came out on Christmas. And dude, you were just saying this is definitely bringing baseball back. So the tweet was the Christmas Day baseball game of 1862 was an unexpected and heartwarming event amidst the Civil War. So the troops from both the Union and the Confederate armies, they were in a temporary ceasefire, and they sought a moment of reprieve from the harsh realities of conflict. Right. So these guys are fighting, and then they stop in the field near the Rappahannock in Virginia. The soldiers on either side set their arms down and they played a friendly game of baseball. The air, typically filled with the sounds of war, echoed with the crack of the bat. What do you got on that?
I think it's awesome. I think that's beautiful. I think that goes to show just, do you remember after, this is kind of weird, but do you remember after 9/11, September 11th, when that happened? The country had never been more unified.
Yeah.
George Bush throwing out the first pitch at Yankee Stadium. It was October. It was the playoffs. Like, it was a horrible, tough time, but you saw sports like almost help and bring a community and a country together. I don't know if you've ever watched it, and if anyone's listening to this, but Ken Burns does a documentary on baseball. It starts like in like the 1800s and goes all the way to like 2000 something. But it is so well done and put together, and that's where I like baseball. Is most simplistic, natural. I'm trying to get you out. You're trying to get a hit. We're playing with our teams against your team, and it's like it's 90-foot base pass, 60 feet 6 inches. Like if the base pass were 6 inches longer, 6 inches shorter, like everything we messed up. It's just crazy when you simplify it. And I think sometimes we've gotten a little too out of that, and sometimes you got to just come back and look at the Civil War. That was the worst time maybe in the history of America. Dudes are throwing a baseball around. It sounds cheesy, but
Yeah,
I think it's cool.
absolutely, dude. Absolutely, man. So it's cool to it's cool to think about that. Cool to think about how it's a they call it the pastime, right? The nation's pastime, man. But yeah, could serve a greater purpose, right?
Yeah, I wasn't going anywhere weird with that 9/11. I was just
dude. So this is a sports podcast. We talked about 9/11 and Indian givers, and crazy,
but
crazy.
I corrected. At least Google said
Politically
that,
correct.
hopefully.
Yeah, don't cancel us.
Yeah, I don't want to be that guy. I
All
don't want to
good.
be Aaron Rodgers.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
He's getting
we correct it
all over.
What's going on with him? Maybe we should talk about that next time.
He said Jimmy Kimmel was on Epstein's list or something, and he was, and he wasn't. No, I don't think so. I don't know. And then, that
It's terrible.
podcast. What is the podcast he goes on? It's the biggest podcast in the world right now.
With the Travis Kelce?
No, the punter, kicker. God damn it. Whatever.
Yeah,
The ESPN execs. Yeah, ESPN execs.
Oh yeah.
Pat McAfee.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why it took me so long. I had a brain fart, but he's on there. It's like Aaron Tuesdays or something. Like he's on there every Tuesday. And dude, I turned on the TV the other day, and they were talking about like wearing like gags and shit during sex. Like I was like, this is on ESPN at like noon.
Sweet.
I don't know how.
I saw that they were talking shit about the execs.
Yeah, trying to censor them and stuff.
He was holding them back or something like that. I really didn't get a chance to read too much into it, man, but it'll be cool to see how that plays out.
Yeah. But again, going back 9/11, Indian givers, we're here to bring baseball content. Sometimes we talk about, you said John Adams earlier. I think that was a founding father, but now he has a baseball academy, apparently.
Yeah, he's damn good at it too.
It's crazy. Founding father, second president of the United States. See, we can talk about all this different kind of stuff.
That's right, baby. That's right, baby.
I don't want to be insensitive.
No, man. No. Not here. Not here. Not us, man. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This was an action-packed episode. A lot of different things we touched on here today. Looking forward to catching you guys again later this week, man. David, thank you for making time, dude.